However, our procurement process is very difficult and is based on lower price instead of quality.
Yeah.
And that really needs to change. And I hope we'll do the best, because you see that many cases, a lot of infrastructure projects, they stuck because they get the lowest price where the quality is not good. We build the culture first and then the infrastructure, because there are many cases around Europe where they try to build and mimic Silicon Valley, where they build the buildings, but there is no culture to support that. And I think through history of even Silicon Valley, Israel, there are great examples to see how culture has evolved through the years in order to innovate and help us do that.
Artemis Kontou is a researcher and entrepreneur. She leads AI research initiatives focused on real-world applications in healthcare, while also developing entrepreneurial projects across technology and real estate, and mentoring startups within innovation and accelerator programs. She's also the creator of the Harmora method, a membership-based platform exploring personal growth and inner alignment through music and guided practices. Artemis, welcome to the Future Makers podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, and I really liked your this new series of podcasts of yours.
Thank you so much. It was an honor that you accepted my invitation, and I'm so excited to get into today's conversation.
I'm excited that I met you, and yes, congratulations for all the work you do.
Thank you. So, first off, let's start from the very beginning. One of my favorite philosophers, Kierkegaard, talks about how we understand life backwards, but live it forwards. How does that apply to you? How, when you look at your life before, in your early years, how did that kind of prepare you for the work you're doing now?
I grew up in Paphos. I had painful childhood, but beautiful. I lost my father when I was 12. So I grew up with two strong, independent women, my mother and my grandmother. And I had a very supportive and caring family around me. I had a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins. And since I was a kid, we had, for example, every Sunday we were having lunch with all the family. So I learned how to listen and share, collaboration by preparing food, and I learned how important is communication and community through these gatherings we have with our family. So I think I got quite good values, even though I had some difficulties. I appreciate and feel very grateful for the environment that I grew up.
So now you've mentioned your mother and your grandmother. Who were these your female mentors as you were growing up? Who were the woman in your life that you were kind of looking up to and kind of learning about what it meant to be a woman during those early years?
It was mostly my mother and my grandmother. And my mother was very strong, and she was working long hours to support us. So most of my time I was with my grandmother and my brother, my cousins. We grew up all together. But I think that pain that I had from the loss of my father, I turned it into purpose. And he he was buying me a lot of science books since I was a kid. So I learned how to dream and become a researcher since I was a kid.
Was he also somebody in the science community?
No, he was a teacher, and then he had a factory in potteries. So he was supplying potteries, hotels and local restaurants.
Nice. And what was the kind of script that you think that was kind of being written for you? What was maybe your family or the environments kind of encouraging you? What career were they encouraging you to follow?
Actually, I never followed a script. I had some goals. I wanted to become a researcher, do the PhD. I wanted to become a lecturer, entrepreneur. But I was always driven by doing what matters to me, to do what I love to do, and to do something that it has impact to the world. So I was always choosing a path that I enjoy what I do and have impact to the environment or society. That's why I started working in as a researcher in climate change first, and then I continue working in other fields and now in healthcare.
And what actually helped you connect to these kind of environmental issues, especially climate change? Was it something in your environment or just something from school?
I think I was reading a lot when I was finishing my first degree in mathematics. I wanted to become a meteorologist, so I did a master on that. And I got my first experience in the Joint Research Center of European Commission. It's a beautiful research center in Ispra, in Lago Maggiore in Italy. And so I had to, I was surrounded with a lot of scientists from all around the world. And that great community, I think, gave me to be more sensitive on the world we're living on.
And I just wanted to go back. I mean, you pursued a STEM degree. Was it normal at the time for a woman to want to step into a STEM career as you were growing up? How many of your peers were kind of doing the same?
We weren't many, especially in mathematics. We're mostly men. But I remember when I did my PhD, I was around 27 when I did it. Most of the lecturers, like professors in our group, I was in the tribology group. It was an engineering group on wear and friction. But luckily, my colleagues were half men, half women. So that was very supportive. But we had only, from the, I think, 5-6 professors, only 2 women in the group. I went to England. I was around 17 years old when I finished high school. I went to Nottingham to study mathematics, and then in Birmingham to study meteorology and climatology. And then I went to Ispra in Italy, then back to Cyprus, to the university as a research assistant. I was working in environmental projects, European projects. And then I went back to England. I had a fellowship, a Marie Curie fellowship. I was in AkzoNobel. It's a company working on, they have the Dulux paints. So I was working for the coatings for ships, for antifouling coatings. And then I went to do my PhD in London.
So let's talk about those first jobs. I mean, you're entering, fresh out of university. What was it like stepping into the fields, the scientific fields, as a woman? And did you learn anything about yourself within those in those jobs? Anything about like power dynamics, especially between various colleagues? Can we talk about that?
Yes, sure. So most of my experience was in an academia.
Mm-hmm.
So in academia, I haven't experienced much of the power authority dynamics because it's more about collaboration and it should be an environment for innovation. And innovation, it's all about not having a structured environment and have the freedom to innovate. However, through my experiences, I learned that leadership is not about authority and titles, and it's about be supportive and responsible and motivate and help either your colleagues or your mentees to be better and feel safe in an environment that they can grow.
Mm-hmm. And did you experience that kind of a leadership in those roles? Were you supported? How was the environment there?
I think I was lucky to be in supportive environments. Although I experienced some discrimination as a woman.
Oh no.
For example, I have been asked in interviews if I'm married and I have family and if I would be willing to travel.
I got the very same questions.
Yes.
How did you respond?
I just didn't take the jobs.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it hard to
I wouldn't be able to work with people that they have this mentality.
Was it hard to turn down the job?
No.
No?
No. And I never look back. I mean, I really believe that everything is happening for a reason. And yes, I take every bad experience as a lesson and I always move forward.
It's funny because, I got that question, when I was looking for a job, a few years back. And I remember reading about it, 5-10 years ago. And yet I think it's still something that's happening. So I was shocked when I got that question.
How did you react?
I told them that, to be honest, my dog is more of a problem than if I had children, and that they should be more concerned that I'm a dog mother than a human mother, because the kids, you can move them to, grandmothers or whatever. The dog is a little bit more tricky. But I was absolutely shocked. It was an academic environment, and I thought
in Cyprus.
Oh. Did you get the question in Cyprus more?
In Cyprus, yes.
Did you ever hear those kind of questions outside of Cyprus?
Not actually.
No? That's shocking,
yes.
Isn't it? I was absolutely shocked hearing that. And to think that we'd gone beyond that, understanding that, the woman isn't bound to the children. It's a shared responsibility.
Exactly.
And that question doesn't go to men.
Yes, exactly.
In your job now, do you feel do you experience anything? No?
No, I'm very grateful. And that's why, so I was in this research center. It's called KIOS, Research Innovation Center for Excellence in the University of Cyprus. So I used to work there when I came to Cyprus. So I transitioned my field. So I moved into ICT. And I really liked all the people there and all the professors and all the researchers. And then I went to we created Malok, and then I wanted to go back to academia, so I wanted to go back to the same research center because of that.
Yeah. So, but Malak is a startup, correct? What was it like to, you've just grown, I don't want to say grown up, but like most of your working and your educational life has just been, within the academia space. And then you're stepping into something that's entrepreneurial, that is independent, that is, how did you make that decision? Like, where did the confidence come from?
Well, it was a hard decision, but I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much and taking risks, and they helped me to do more stuff. But I was, for example, since I was a kid, I was very insecure on not having a job, or I would prepare myself to do my own business. So when I was 22, I wanted to, I was in the university as a research assistant, and I asked if there is any funding to do a training. So I thought the quickest way to learn how to do business is to audit business through standards. So I went and I did the quality management system standard, the ISO, and the environmental one. And then when I was in AkzoNobel 1 year after, I asked my manager if I could audit if I could become internal auditor for the quality management standard. And she was very excited that she wouldn't have to do this job. And then you learn all the processes of the company, the policy, how it works. So I was very interested in entrepreneurship and learning how business works since very young age.
Yeah. It's not something
so
that's
it's not something that, and also my PhD, I wanted to do it with an industrial partner. So it was sponsored by Shell. So I had the experience with a corporate very early.
It's not something that's really encouraged for women, though. How did you, kind of step out of that comfort zone of what is expected of a woman, and to do something very independent? Tell me about that.
Maybe I was watching my mother doing everything by herself, and I think I believed that I had to do everything and be sustainable by myself very early. And
you do sound like you're very, very independent, very kind of very forward in future thinking.
Yes.
So you step out of academia and you join Malak. What was the experience like as an entrepreneur?
Initially it was very hard because we're 3 founders, because I had to learn marketing from scratch. At the beginning it was very nice, creative, but it's not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I missed academia and research and doing something that has impact. And that's why I left. And I went back to Gios, and they gave me the opportunity to build a team on AI and healthcare. And and I had this opportunity from, I didn't have many publications. So it was a dream of mine to have my own research team and test my ideas and work with researchers. And then I realized that whatever dream I had, I was thinking, it was coming. Or for example, without even trying, I don't know, opportunities were coming to me. And that's why since very young age, I was exploring how our subconscious mind work. And this is why we created Harmora method.
Yeah. Something
to
really
help people to reset their mindset and attract the life they want.
That's really... So let's just take it back a step. You returned to academia. Was it difficult to get back into academia? Or
No.
And but you're
because I knew people that trusted me, and we worked together, and then we built the team.
And you enter a field that is still very underrepresented with women, AI. I mean, it's, the big thing now, but it's still very much dominated by male researchers and others. How was it like?
In our team, we're mostly women.
Really?
Yes.
And what is the kind of work you're doing with the team? Can you talk about that a little?
Yes. So we have a funding to create smart tools for the Ministry of Health in order to have better surveillance for pandemics, in general to monitor diseases. And also we are building the One Health system that for better preparedness and response for emergencies in case of pandemics or any other diseases, where it's between the veterinary services, the Ministry of Health, the unit of surveillance, and the medical entomology, where we have mosquitoes that they're coming and they spread diseases. So the whole team works on different fields on that, mostly on predictions or on healthcare capacity, predicting in case of pandemics what measures we'll do to and predict the capacity of hospitals. What
has been the response of your work from, members of the public or other researchers around you?
I think so far it's great. We are invited in different conferences to talk about our research, and another important thing is that the board of Mental Medical Technologies, it's a startup on detecting arrhythmias around 30 type of heart disease through ECGs, electrocardiograms.
Yeah.
And that is also going great. And now we're in the certification process.
Yeah.
And once we get the certificate, EU MDR, CE, and FDA, we'll be able to launch in bigger markets, because now we're piloting in Kenya and other few countries. And this is a Cypriot initiative.
Oh, that's wonderful. Why did you choose to pilot in Kenya?
Because certification is not that strict there. So it's a good strategy to try your product in countries that they're not very strict, and then once you validate it, then you can go to other markets. And surprisingly, Kenya is paying more than a report than US.
Really?
Yeah. Generally, Africa is an emerging country where I have another friend who succeeded in Namibia, for example, testing his products there. And it's amazing how you help the community and you also grow.
Where are we with healthcare technologies and our healthcare system all in all? I think
we have, from my experience, we have very good people that they really care.
Yeah.
And you see the change the last few years. And as KIOS, the University of Cyprus, stepped in during the pandemic to create the tools to monitor the cases. And since then, they trusted academia to help them create more tools. And now they have more confidence in academia, and they are more open to receive help. The University of Cyprus, it's because it's a governmental public university, it's easier to to have a collaboration with the government. Otherwise, the government have to take services through tender procedure, procurement. So that really helped to establish the collaboration with the academia and research centers such as KIOS. However, our procurement process is very difficult and is based on lower price instead of quality.
Yeah.
And that really needs to change. And I hope we'll do the best, because you see that many cases, a lot of infrastructure projects, they stuck because they get the lowest price where the quality is not good.
And the money just somehow...
You don't know where the money goes.
You don't know where it goes. And apparently, it's finished and then they've only, built half the road.
Exactly.
And it's scary to think with something as urgent as healthcare, that could be somebody who is not going to be as passionate about actually improving the healthcare might take on the project.
Exactly, because I realized that all the academics, most of the academics, they're not driven by money, they're driven by change, making change and impact. So for them, it's mostly working by passion. So that's what differentiates corporate world or the government.
So you're now kind of working between academia and entrepreneurship. I've heard a lot of how difficult it is for academics to feel comfortable to kind of leave their role, because especially as a woman, where it's hard to get in, and then saying goodbye to a stable salary, especially in this economy, and especially as global research is experiencing so much underfunding. How is it for you to be able? How have you found yourself being able to kind of balance the two? Still working within research, but also pursuing your passion in entrepreneurial work. Can you tell me about how you've been able to kind of keep the two in your life?
Yes. Generally, researchers it's very difficult for them to become entrepreneurs. I mentor many startups through the Women Tech EU accelerator. It's an EU accelerator. And I have some startups that they come from universities, and it's very difficult for them not to overanalyze, and they have to, they want to be perfect in everything. And generally, if you overanalyze and you don't create your prototype and put it in the market to test it, then you are delayed. You might not succeed. And for them, it's very difficult to change the mindset to become an entrepreneur. But I had it for a while, but because I was, the Y Combinator training helped a lot on how to create quick MVPs and test the market. And yes, I always feel the confidence to try things, and I changed different fields through my life, because since a young age I really believe that you can learn anything, so that gave me the confidence to try things, and I also wanted to not be confined by jobs, so I started since young age to create passive incomes, and then I went into real estate and different other things so that I can be sustainable.
You mentioned Y Combinator. Malik had the great opportunity to kind of be part of that. Can you tell me about the experience? I mean, now you've had experience with like accelerators here in Cyprus.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference as somebody who's, as an entrepreneur? Can you tell me about the contrasts?
Yes, accelerators in US are very different. The approach in US is very different than in Europe. For example, how investments happen in US. You pitch, and then you can first of all you can create a company in a day in US. In Cyprus, you need a couple of, maybe it can take you a month. Until they approve your name, it's taking too long. And the investors, they have confidence in you. First of all, they look at the team and then the product. And I remember we didn't even send them a business plan. And they invest with safe agreements, single agreement for future equity. So they get equity only if you are successful. So they give you the money, and they get the equity if you go, for example, for Series A. And it's amazing how easy they invest compared to Europe. And Europe is now becoming more popular with safe agreements, but the ecosystem in US is much, much different. I remember investors in Cyprus, we were negotiating like £1,000, £2,000. And they wanted to have control over everything. They wanted a business plan. Even now with medical technologies, they want a risk assessment of the company. Some investors, they want, which is, I mean, if you believe in the team and the product, then you just invest, take the risk, and yes.
And that's just it. I feel like if they're gonna try to have so much control over you, I don't know how it will affect you mentally as a team.
Yes,
you are
exactly.
more averse to risk, or more averse to actually making bigger, thinking bigger, because the smaller steps sound safe. And this is why if investors are less controlling and give you the freedom like the US does, that's when companies can, explode.
Grow. Exactly.
Yeah. How did you find the reaction of the US to, a woman's team?
Actually, our first investors, I think they called Urban Innovation Fund. The founders were women, and all the team were women.
Nice.
And I remember we had feedback from women. They were using our app from Middle East, that they were partners, they were controlling them, they were spying them through apps, and we could detect that. And they were amazed by our story, and that's when we got the 1 million, first 1 million, and then our valuation grew, and then we went for more funding.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So in a way, you proved your worth. You were confident in your product, and you actually gave them value. And it's amazing how much confidence they had to, then kind of put their money to see you grow.
Yes, Y Combinator, you need to show growth first to enter. That's very important for them. You need to show that you validate the market, there is market need, and people are buying you.
And you're now a mentor for startups, women-only startups, or?
No, I mentor also some startups in the university, but I'm in an accelerator. It's called Women Tech EU. It's deep tech startups that founders are women from Europe, where they have males in their teams, but their founders are mostly women.
And what do you feel is maybe a trend among women founders? What do you see them struggling with the most, especially across Europe?
I think finding the confidence to fundraise, and it's different. For example, I see the women coming from academia, they're not that risky, where women coming from corporate world. So for example, I have curated AI. She's a lawyer, and she created a privacy tool, a compliance privacy tool, and she's doing great. But she's like very, she's super. I mean, she's going after customers, and while in the academia, they're more. Actually, in academia, because there are some men involved in their founding team, and especially professors, when you have to get investment, you need everyone full time.
Yeah.
And they are professors she's working on. They are not willing to give their shares to the company. So there is a lot of debt equity by them, and she. For example, this case, she's struggling to convince them to let her run the company. So you see some struggle there.
And that's kind of just a general trend in academia. You're saying that there is less willingness to kind of go all in.
Yes, and take the risk.
And yet you were able
to.
However,
how Silicon Valley started. They started from the government giving money to universities to innovate, especially in the Second World War, and universities were the key to innovation. And then slowly, this is how Silicon Valley started and ecosystems. But if you see the example of Israel ecosystem, it's there are limitations of land, of resources, natural resources. They make them innovate through investing in military. So it came through other reasons. So it's very important. Universities to give them the freedom and not be limited by the legal constraints they have now. And now recently in the University of Cyprus, the law has changed and for spin-offs. So I'm really keen to see how it goes.
Can you maybe talk more about how has the law changed and what has been the response?
I haven't seen yet, but I know before the law was the university was holding a lot of equity for when you are creating a spin-off through the university. They weren't leaving the academics to have companies because many of them were having companies and doing consulting. So the law didn't allow them to have any companies. So hopefully now this has changed.
Yes. What do you think besides like the legal basis? Because you've mentioned how universities, before they were like this innovation hub, and now they've kind of lost that appetite to innovate, and rather they just, want to constrain their research to just like the theoretical and just to books and to papers that will be hidden in dust cupboards. Where have we lost that trend? And do you think the trend is constrained to a specific ecosystem, like just in the US or just in Europe?
Look, I think, for example, University of Cyprus is doing a lot of initiatives for entrepreneurship. For example, now I teach AI entrepreneurship for the master's degree in AI. And they have the C4E, the Center for Entrepreneurship, where they do a lot of lectures and they have a competition for startups. However, research that's coming from the university, from researchers, it's a more complicated process. There are many nice examples from universities like Imperial College, or in US like Stanford and MIT, that they help startups to grow, and they are also building accelerators inside the universities to help them build the products they need to build. But I believe that Cyprus is a great place to innovate. Cyprus can offer very great quality of life, and now there are some initiatives to build these innovation parks. So hopefully we build the culture first and then the infrastructure, because there are many cases around Europe where they try to build and mimic Silicon Valley, where they build the buildings, but there is no culture to support that. And I think through history of even Silicon Valley or Israel, there are great examples to see how culture has evolved through the years in order to innovate and help us do that. And hopefully, with my position in the Nicosia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we are also trying to change the legal framework in order to include also startups and be more close to bigger industries and bigger companies in Cyprus, and make better this gap between startups and all the nationals companies, even companies from abroad. But I think now we are heading to that direction to create the legal framework to support startups and general entrepreneurship.
Talking of culture, you've mentioned your teaching. What is the vibe? I can't believe I've just used that word. What is the vibe of the students? What are their relationship to entrepreneurship? Do you see a lot of enthusiasm for students to go into?
Not that much.
No, not that much.
When I was talking with the professor teaching the course last year, he told me that only 5 students were interested in his class for entrepreneurship. This year, there are around 10. Okay. From the 35 students I have. Okay. So it's an improvement,
It's an improvement, but it's still 1/3,
yes.
Less than 1/3.
Yes.
So there isn't that much. And why do you think that is?
They're just not interested in becoming entrepreneurs, or and I think maybe it's coming from school, because it teaches to live in a system and be good employees for the system, but there are some of them, they are really very enthusiastic. I see them smiling all the time, and they're asking questions, but most of them, they are not.
No. And it's funny, because you, as somebody who did go through the school culture, you were like an entrepreneurial spirit from the very beginning. So do you think those who do go into entrepreneurship in Cyprus, are they more anomalies than the norm, or do you think, or what do you think?
No, I think if you're exposed to, if you have a lot of exposure with people, they're more open-minded, and if you travel a bit, because I traveled since I was a very, very young age. So when you see more things and you have more experiences, I think you're more prone to go through that field, or if life has made you change. Or, for example, I was seeing my mom struggling, so maybe that made me more becoming more open-minded and trying to find different solutions to survive, maybe. I think the system in private schools might be better. Or if you expose your kids in more creative fields. And I was exposed in creative fields through music. So I think also that maybe, and another thing, I think astronomy also gives you perspective. I realized that when you are a kid and you have a perspective on how big the universe is and how small you are, then you see how many the possibilities are there, and they're much bigger of the small place you are growing or of what is around you.
Especially when you're growing up in a tiny little island that is surrounded by oceans.
Exactly.
You want to see what is on the other side of that ocean. And speaking of creative ventures, let's talk about yours. Let's talk about, let me say it correctly, the Harmora method and what you've, what is it? Where did the idea come from, and how did it come to be?
So with my friends, I realized that, so I went through the spiritual path for the last, 10 years. So I realized that whatever I was dreaming of, it was coming naturally. And then with my friends and Anna, who is medical physicist, we started investigating how binaural frequencies work and how we can reprogram our subconscious mind. So we created this method where it has, it's an audio program. It has binaural frequencies, affirmations like I am, visualizations, because Jose Silva did a great research. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Silva method. So Jose Silva was one of the first to talk about visualizing and do healing through visualization, and how it has been used by Olympic athletes, and how the subconscious mind is will give you what you want by visualizing things. And there has been a research that all the successful people are dreamers, because they're dreaming what they want to achieve. So it has, it's a membership. It has this audio program, which it's a combination of affirmations, visualization, music, and visualization, affirmation, frequencies, and music. And the membership has community access, so you are supported and with other similar-minded people. And it has also live sessions of breath work and visualization. And the first audio program, it's on manifesting the life that you want, and then you get new monthly programs for different purposes.
So how does visualization factor into your life? Is it a daily practice for you? Like, do you follow the program yourself?
Yes. So we tested it, and we saw, for example, we did the Harmora method, and I was like, okay, girls, maybe if we're invited in some podcast and we get the video, and then we use these clips and we do paid ads and promote it, maybe. Yeah. And then we had 3 offers for podcast. Nice. Like you send us, you send me an email. Yeah. And Girls on STEM Academy, they sent me an email if we can have a podcast. And also Olina Sokratos, I'm not sure if you know her. Yeah. She invited me on the Women's Day to talk in the branch she's doing. And they just came in all together in a few days. And I was like, okay, maybe it's working, and then we have to investigate it further. And then later on, we want to put AI and to create your own customized meditation program.
Okay, so can you just walk me through? Like, let's say you want to apply. When do you usually use the method? Like in the morning, is it part of like your meditation practice in the morning? Can you just walk me through?
In the morning or before bed, it's best when you're more relaxed.
Can you walk me through? Like, I'll open up the platform. What do I see?
Yes. So it's a membership platform. You see the audio program when you do it for 21 days because consistency, you need repetition in order to reprogram your mind. And that's all. It takes only 9 minutes per day.
And it's who does the visualization? Is there like some? Do you record the sessions yourselves and put them on the platform, or how does it work? Yes, it's
an audio, so it's a guided audio. And apart from that, we have live visualization sessions. So my friend Hasme, she has been in wellness industry for many years, and she's doing the visualization sessions every month.
How have you seen your life kind of change with these visualization practices?
A lot, because your thoughts are attracting what you are thinking. So if you're thinking and you feel what you want to achieve, you already feel it, that you already have it, then it's easier that you will be tuned and it will come to you, or you will do the right actions to get it. And we all have limiting beliefs, so by reshaping limiting beliefs, then it's easier to get what you want, achieve what you want, and also it's very important to be mindful, live in the moment, and instead of living in the past, because what we have, it's only the now.
Do you find that the community is mostly women, or is there, what is the kind of break of genders?
So it depends. For example, for Harmora method, we haven't launched yet. We are launching it in a few days. However, we are trying firstly my audience in Instagram, which is mostly men, but there's some women, so we will see how it goes, and then we might do some targeting ads with our friends, influencer friends, and then we test it. So we'll be tested we test it ourselves, but we want to test it in broader markets. And a good strategy is to test the product in 3 to 6 months. And if it doesn't work, then you pivot or get feedback and create something that people want.
I want to pivot a little and talk about your relationship to failure. Is there a failure that you feel has kind of changed something in your path? Something that a failure that you do still remember, and what is your definition of failure as you maybe share that story?
So I thought, so when I was at Imperial, I got a postdoc position and I wanted to become an academic, a lecturer. So I wanted to stay maybe a few years there to get experience and do some publications in order to follow that path. But due to personal reasons, I had to come to Cyprus. And I couldn't find a group that to continue my research. And I joined GIOS in University of Cyprus. So for 1-2 years, I thought I failed. I failed as an academic. I will never get a lecturer position. And I was trying to find a field to do research about. And so that took me a bit long to realize that there are other options and opportunities. So I was teaching in the was teaching 2 modules in the Cyprus University of Technology, and also project management. So I was doing the teaching I wanted. I didn't have but slowly I was building my CV in order to later. So the startup came, the opportunities for funding came. So I gained so much other things that I don't regret. But back then I thought I failed as an academic.
So it was mostly, was it together with returning to Cyprus, you know, because Imperial College is like one of the top universities in the world, and it was, you weren't, you know, pursuing academia in the traditional way, even though when you did return, it was very non-traditional, but you are still within the academic field. What was all part of that failure, the idea? Was it moving back to Cyprus or just
Even moving back to Cyprus, I was thinking I failed, and because I was dreaming, or maybe later I will go to Cambridge and Oxford, and was even thinking of applying in some research centers in NASA, and then coming to Cyprus. But I'm always trying to be humble and teach and influence on however I can people. So I met amazing people in Cyprus, and so I don't regret it. So,
but there is this narrative, isn't there, where for some reason Cyprus is never seen as this like education or research with stardom. Stardom's not the correct word.
But we have great researchers. For example, the founder of GIOS, Professor Polikarpou, it's one of the top 10 researchers in the world in AI. He got great awards for his research. So if you see researchers individually, we have great people in great minds in Cyprus.
We do, and I think I myself, I did the exact same thing. I studied in London, and it was the prestige of the name of the university that took me, not any of the professors or what I was actually doing.
Yeah, this is what I was doing as well. And
and I know that if I'd stayed there, I would have never got the same opportunities I am getting back in Cyprus, or the experiences. That's true.
I was also hired in a position because they said, you graduate from Imperial, then we'll hire you. But there wasn't any, they formed a position for me because I was from Imperial.
Yeah. And it's to think that a brand name is worth more than actual work or the value that, the research environment brings, even if it's from a smaller hub, even if it's, not in like London or England or the US. I think that's kind of a failure of the academic field.
Yes, I felt that, but due to limited talents, we have to hire people from either University of Cyprus or other not that prestigious universities, where most of them, they are really, really good and hard workers and smart. Because they didn't have the money or the opportunities to go to study in London or in good universities or
and it's the same with startups, isn't it? Like those who've bootstrapped their way to the top, I feel like they should actually be they should actually be praised for that and actually get more investment, because they know what it's like to be at the bottom and they've worked so much harder to get to the top.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah. I want to now talk about your values. You are in so many different pots. You're an entrepreneur, you're an academic, you are now, creating this, giving this platform for people to explore their spirituality and like the meditation practices. What are the values you you feel you are bringing into this work, and what are the values that you keep and want to kind of share with the world?
So first of all, being authentic, humble in what you do, respectful to people around you, and supportive, I think.
And how have you found people do you feel like you are drawn to these values as well, or in other people?
Yeah, I think if you're being authentic and supportive and respectful, people appreciate it, and you build more meaningful and long-lasting relationships. And whoever doesn't like it, then they leave. And sadly, I see many people that maybe I did that in the past, like chasing opportunities for validation, for example, because maybe we didn't have the love when we were kids. So it's I see many people that they are doing it for that and chasing like titles for wrong reasons. And so I really believe that by being authentic and finding work with yourself and finding the values that you want to have and the people around you, then your life becomes more meaningful, with purpose and more joyful.
Yeah, and it's so inspiring and just encouraging to know that somebody who is trying to work within our healthcare, has put so much importance on like kindness and authenticity and honesty, and to know that this is the kind of the environment that you are trying to build around you. So thank you for that. I wanted to ask you, what kind of change do you want to see in the future here on the island, or just in your fields?
I think I want more people to do what they love doing. I see many people that they are trapped in their work or lives or situations, and I want them to find the courage to live from that trap and doing things they love and enjoy, because we live in a very nice island, and life is short, and I see that I'm not sure if it's our society, if we grew up like that, but many people, they care about what other people think, and I was doing it. I was caring too much, and I didn't want to go to a podcast or being somewhere live, but it's fine if you're not perfect and if you do mistakes, and life's too short to live by what other people think.
I want to ask you the final question, which is, what encouragement or what message would you like to share with young women now looking at, trying to plan their life? You, as somebody who had the courage to, step out of Bafo, and kind of pursue your passions wherever, and you've pursued so many different passions. What message would you like to leave them to, go forward?
I think to not be afraid to chase opportunities. It's fine if you fail, or you just move forward, and you don't have to be perfect, and just don't care what people think. I think that's my advice.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we close?
No, just I really enjoyed our talk. It was very great to meet you.
It was such a pleasure. I could just feel, like the kindness emanating from you. And it's amazing because I'm sitting, before somebody who is doing so much. And yet, usually people who are, do have so much on their plate are usually very, very anxious people. But I can feel like this peace. And yeah, so I am going to be the first one up on that platform once it launches, because I need whatever is coming out of you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for coming on and sharing about your work and your own and your own life.